voice, the lead from within. With me today, Dr. Bigot and Claudia Pasta. Please, Dr. Bigot, introduce yourself to our audience. Somebody needs to mute.
Thank you, Numsa, and it's an honor to be here. Let me ask you, if you are watching this or listening to this, have you ever noticed that you self-sabotage? Perhaps you told yourself you want to do something and then you just keep stopping yourself from doing that. You want to accomplish something. And then you notice that as you move forward toward it, like your visions, your dream is right there. You did something that caused you to, after you take so many steps forward, you take you to right back straight, a couple steps back, and now it's farther away again. You're like, oh no, what the heck did I do? Do you know? Do you know that grief has a lot of roles in there? How do you think grief plays a role in self-sabotage? Listen up and let's discover, let's have you discover how certain things in the past of the past sometimes that you might not even be aware can cause you to self-sabotage and keep you from your dream. I'm Dr. Burjit Tan, grief transformation coach. I'm here to help you change whatever trauma and adversity that you have into something that is beautiful and that you love and keep gaining the fruit now and for the rest of your life for you and all your loved ones.
Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Bigot, Claudia, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, and hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Claudia Prischer. I'm an energy intuitive healer and a mindset coach. And yes, I chose the topic today, didn't I, Nomsa? Yeah, in regards to self-sabotaging. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I'm sure what you just explained, Dr. Birgit, is we have all been through this, and it's always good to be reminded and actually as well to understand what's going on. So this is why I chose this topic as well, just like to become a bit more clear and just about how does it work and what are the signs in regards to self-sabotaging. And actually, may I start? Yeah? Sure. I read this great book. It's called The Big Leap. I got this last summer. Actually, it's an easy read. It's just like 200 pages. And Gay Hendricks, the author, describes actually very well how we all have an internal thermostat for how much happiness and abundance and success, health as well, we allow ourselves. So it's a bit like, so we all individually have our own individual limit, and everything what comes above or after we are being as well brought back, so that we stay always in our he calls it the zone of excellence. It's a bit like the comfort zone, actually, what we know about us, about our life and the different areas as well. So yes, just like I wanted as well, like just like today, to come up with a few examples from that book, The Big Leap. Have you read this, Nomsa?
I've just written it down. I've not read it, so
Okay,
I think I'm gonna go.
Please, yes, it's
Yeah,
easy.
I'm gonna go and get one.
Good.
It sounds like a good book. A really, really
Yes,
good book.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because we do self-sabotage basically because we don't want to get out of our comfort zone, and we basically, or sometimes like Dr. Bickett was saying, we do things and you do things, and then when we're about to finish that, we think, oh, we do something silly. Or you find someone, like sometimes I used to do that as well, like do something silly, like if I enter a relationship and if anything goes wrong in that relationship, like it became a pattern, like I'm out, like it became a pattern. Or sometimes I wouldn't want the confrontation, or avoiding like things that basically cause conflict. It's basically if you are in a relationship, if you want to like if something goes wrong and you pretend like nothing has happened, you sweep things under the carpet, and because you don't want conflict, and that build resentment, it will build anger, so many things will be building within you. And but the good thing is we can work on it. There's a cure for it. It's just you have to change. You have to basically realize that there is a problem, and when you realize there is a problem, then you sort it out. Because if you don't sort it out, it will create a stagnation, a stronghold. It will create so many things. I don't know in that book what does the book say. The professional, what do they say about it? But for me, all I know is if you don't solve problems, or you have this sabotaging that becomes a pattern with the relationships with everybody else, um, it will cause stagnation. And I have realized as well, like since I got into personal development, there are friends that I have. I don't hang out with them anymore, but because of my character, I also don't resent them. But I chose to be away. I can still go sit down with them, have a coffee, quick coffee, and just go. Or I can just, when I see them, just give them my time and communicate with them. It's like when you're with them, life is like a competition. It's like they do things better than you in the conversation. And like when you are having a conversation, the conversation goes like, I'm better than you. I can do this better than you. I am the best. So for me, basically, because I'm just like Nomsa who likes to learn. I love to improve myself. So I don't feel that I should be around those kind of characters. So I sort of move myself away. And but maybe I used to do it, but I don't think I did, because I've always been curious of learning. Basically, when I meet people, I want to find out the things that they do, and the things that I don't know. I get really excited to get to know people. So, and also at the same time, it helps you to be aware of the characters to avoid. Over to you, Dr. Biggett, or is it Claudia? Don't know who's Dr. Biggett.
Dr. Birgit.
Thank you, Namsa. I love how you say that. Can you hear me? It's
Yep.
blinking out. I love how you say that there are sometimes certain experience and things where, like in your example there, and it's such a beautiful example. And yes, sometimes we go through things in life, and things happen as you said, and you need to clear that out. And because the book that you're sharing there, Claudia, it's basically talking that everyone has what we call, or what he called, but also many other personal development guru call the internal thermostat. How you kind of keep going, and then you hit a certain thing, and then you hit almost like we call it a glass ceiling. So you can't go past that, and you bounce right back. And so a lot of personal. Now let me ask you, if you're listening to this, have you ever tried personal development? Say you like, okay, I recognize this and that. You try personal development and it doesn't give you anywhere the result that you would love it to be. And you are a good student, you are a good, you listen to your coach, you do what you need to do and all these good things. But the result is not quite there. And you're looking around and everybody in the same program with you, they're like all soaring up. You're like, what the heck is this? Well, sometimes, and many times actually, that glass ceiling that make you go, and then you kind of like hit something and bounce right back is caused by unresolved hidden grief, unrecognized grief that you experienced perhaps so long in the past, and perhaps it's not even something that happened to you, something you witnessed or something, and it's become like a barrier because what happened is for us to be able to put ourselves into something. If you really want to accomplish something, you got to put your mind and your heart into it. Think about this. If you have something happen, a grief of any form, and it might be recent, but it might be something so long ago that untrained lay people are, it might not recognize it. What grief does is it covers your heart. It's basically when something happened, the grief say that okay, heart closed down, because guess what? Grief causes unsettling feeling. He both mentions this, the unsettling feeling. You know, Numsa says, that's kind of like all these feelings here, and it's the grief. By definition, grief is the unsettling feelings caused by a change or hope unmet. Let me ask you: have you ever experienced change in your life? Have you ever had hope, perhaps hope of having a peaceful society or something, a peaceful family? That's not mad. And so that's the simple definition of grief. And so if anything that ever happened, not just death, divorce, diagnosis, or job loss, then any of those, it can cause our heart to kind of close down and say, okay, let's not get hurt again, and then that will kind of block you from being able to keep going through, to pushing through, because understandably, I don't want to get hurt, you don't want to get hurt. So I would say that's one of the common reasons that if you ever try personal development and you're like, I'm still hitting this glass ceiling on my internal thermostat, it seems like I can't get it moving, then sometimes you might just want to connect with a very skillful grief specialist who's able to check that out and see. There are a lot of other reasons as well. Of course, I'm sure that Claudius will be able to share some too.
Sure. Actually, what Nomza just said as well, that we all did something silly in regards to self-sabotaging. And I would like to show the audience how this could look like, for example. Okay, so maybe you get the pay rise in the office, and then the same evening you get in a big fight with your spouse at home. Okay, or you book a self-development course. Okay, and then by the time you have to travel, you get sick or you cause an accident as well. So these are like examples where the subconscious could actually, just like trying to hold you back, trying to hold you in your comfort zone. Yeah. And for the book, yes, absolutely. I mean, in the book, he is giving a few examples how it could look like, and just as well to put like the highlighting on this one, I did make a few notes here. So, for example, one could be if I get successful, or if I get to do so and so and so, there could be the fear of becoming disloyal and abandonment, that you feel like that you are disloyal to your family or to your husband, partner, and as well friends, that they that you feel like you will leave them behind on the way. So this is a common major fear which can hold us as well away from being going for the things we would like in our life. And it's actually as well as self-sabotage pattern, yeah, the fear of being disloyal and abandoned by others. Did you ever experience this, Nomsa? Subconsciously disloyal to
I
others,
think
you know?
before I go into personal development, I did, yes, I did experience that, because if you don't have enough confidence within yourself, you will feel that if I actually make this choice or make a decision, my friends are not gonna like me anymore, or your spouse, they're not gonna basically want to go out with you because you want to change your life and stuff. But I think it is something to do with the confidence. But at the same time, I did experience, I think, for a few years, because when I was being raised by my parents, my father always raised me to be who I wanted to be. But when I came to England, when you get into adulthood, you tend at 19 or 20, you start trying to fit in with people, and you're finding your identity, you try to fit in. And that's when I learned that trying to fit in, it made me miserable. So that's when my misery began. And I realized, like at the age of 24, that I'm actually different. I'm not the person that I used to. I don't feel the same way about who I am anymore. But I neglected my identity, because you do things, you're trying to fit in, and you know the things that you want to do in life, but you choose to actually ignore them, or sometimes you'll find friends that will make you feel that actually I'm better than you, and you try to hang around because you think they're cool. There's this thing where people hang around with people because they think they are cool. So I used to have that mind that this person is so cool, this person is this. So, but now I don't think that way anymore. But it is something that it didn't happen over time, overnight. It is something that I had to recognize myself that there was a problem. And like Dr. Bickett was saying, the grief, sometimes it is something that uh, is an unsettling change. For me, I grew up with my dad, and then I stayed with my mom. And then moving home, like family, like my mom and my dad, I was very close to them. And then that fear, am I going to cope on my own? So I think that made me create this false identity, fearing people. And yeah, I have experienced it. It's very, very painful, Claudia. When I look back, like there are some people, when I look at my age, like last week, like on the 6th of June, I was 44. And I look at my age when I was in my 20s, I'm like, I was so unhappy. I wouldn't change my age now for anything. Honestly, I will not change it for anything, because when I look back in my 20s, I was so miserable. Before 20s, I was so happy. And then I became miserable, but then I found my identity again. So, yes, I have experienced it. And I like what Dr. Bickett saying as well, that sometimes it's caused by hidden grief and unsettling changes as well. And Claudia, you talk about fear. So for me, basically, that was change, both the changes in my life and both the fear of being like I'm in the UK. And when you have these people that talk about racism all the time, there's a difference when somebody is raising racism awareness. And this, anyone who is watching, I have never ever noticed this. There is a difference when somebody is raising with a mindset of raising racism, wanting change, and then there is a difference when someone comes to you and say, "Oh, I think these people are racist," like gossiping. It stays in your mind when somebody comes to you and they are raising awareness and they're like, "What do you think about racism?" And they are communicating, wanting you to be positive and accepting people for who they are. You can see in your mind is a change. But when somebody comes to you and actually tells you that, "I don't like this place, people are racist," you actually end up believing it. And that is another fear of fearing, like I'm black, fearing white people, whether do they accept me. So I had to actually divorce that mindset of being told that this person is racist. I had to speak to the person, speak to white people. And if they accept me, yes, they do. And it's awesome. And if somebody doesn't accept me, instead of judging it as racism, and I'll be like looking at black people as well. There are some people who have the same character with like what white people behave. I wouldn't sing with them as they're being racist. I will sing with them as she just got out of the wrong bed right now. So I'll just see it that way. But then as a psychology, like I've been studying psychology, and then I can see the difference between someone who is racist and between someone who is not. And if someone is racist, I always ask the questions, why do you behave the way you behave? And they are like, I don't like people coming into this country taking jobs. So then you try to find out. It's something that has been planted in the youth as well, and you find that people believe with the things that they read. Over to you, Dr. Bidet.
Thank you, Numsa. Thank you, Claudia. I love both of what both of you say. And first of all, if you've been listening to this, I would say the first thing is there is so many thing in social media nowadays that say, oh, it's not a good thing to trying to fit in and all these things. It's almost become like a new shame. You know, you got to be you. You don't try to please people. Don't try to fit in and things like that. And if you notice that perhaps in the past or yours even more recently or now, that you try to fit in, first of all, I want to say, let's give yourself a kind hug. It's normal and natural to want to fit in. It's a survival skill that we have from the time we were in the cavemen and cave women. Imagine that. I mean, humans are born to be social animal. None of us can live in this world truly by ourselves. And so it's absolutely important for you to particularly back in the day when it's our great grandparents, right? Yours and mine. If you don't fit in, if your tribe kick you out of the tribe or out of the cave, you won't be surviving much longer. So please give yourself a kind hug. And if you say, "Oh my God, yeah, maybe I shouldn't fit in." Now with this society nowadays, and there are so many commercialism and this and that and this and that, you might want to be very mindful where you want to fit yourself in. Like Nimsa says, you don't hang out with people who's no longer thinking you. Not that you hate them or something. As we grow, so we want to be mindful, but please not don't feel bad if you know catch yourself you're trying to fit in. And I love that because sometimes then it can cost us, oh my God, okay, I was trying to fit in and I now kind of feel kind of like, oh my goodness. And that alone can, by definition, can cause a little bit of a grief in there, and it can make you feel guilty, which then can lead to grief. And we're talking about how that can cause you to self-sabotage. So we don't want to do new things too for you. And I love what Claudia says. Yes, the four hidden barriers to success is something that is so sneaky. And if you're listening to this, you want to write this down. And then afterwards, you might want to just kind of like visit that really quick, not like sitting there for hours, but just kind of check yourself a bit and say, okay, what's up the four hidden barrier to success might be sitting here and interfering with me. The four hidden barrier to success: fear of disloyalty, as we share here, some being disloyal. If you perhaps have uh, a father or a mother or somebody, a sister, a significant other who are successful. And now as you're becoming more and more successful, you might say, "Oh, I wonder how that person is going to feel." Right? That's the feel. And so that would be one feel of abandonment. And sometimes we see it as abandonment. Oh, they got to be. It's more fear of abandonment is when you are thinking, oh wow, if I'm really successful, is my circle of friends going to continue to love me? Is my family going to continue to love me? If my significant other continue to love me, well, it's the truth is, if they truly love us, I mean, think about this. If you truly love your kids, wouldn't you want your kids to be successful if friends that you love? And if the answer is they don't, then back to what Numsa say, you might want to look at who you're hanging out with. Right? And then the same things with the third one, which is the fear of burden of success. And I have a very interesting, very brief story with that. Actually, I love you brought this up, Claudia, because back in the day, I was earning certain income quite a few years ago. And as my incomes goes up, here in the US, we have magnificent taxes. And as my incomes goes up, it was like in October, I suddenly thought, how much tax am I going to pay? I could looking at the tax bracket here, and I'm like, I start thinking about the tax. And then I suddenly realized that production suddenly halt completely altogether after going up on a non-stop, like the graph was like keep going up. I'm like, oh no. And thankfully I mentioned that to my sweetheart at the time. So if you have the hidden fear of burden of successful acts, might want to listen up to, I mentioned it to my sweetheart and I said, oh, you know what? And he looked at me and he just very kindly say, Bridget, and he's a super successful businessman, like in the eight figures business, multiple businesses. He said, Bridget, I personally is very grateful that I can pay tax. I'm very
Mm,
grateful that I'm paying so much tax. I basically can support the whole police department in this town. He's in
mm,
Los Angeles, and I say, "Oh wow, what a way to look at things there." And then I got adopted that, and then my income kept going up, and so. And then the last thing is the fear of or feeling fundamentally flawed. The fourth one is feeling fundamentally flawed. That there is something wrong with you. And if you are feeling fundamentally flawed, it's not natural for people to feel that way unless something happened physically. And that's when I invite you to take a kind look at yourself and look and say what causes it. And if that grief has not been completely fully resolved, please allow yourself and your loved one who can benefit from your success the gift of being able to be free from the cause of grief and feel fully and being able to move forward as Claudia's lead us into these discussions on
mm.
that lessen your self-sabotage.
Mm. Yes, absolutely. And what you just said as well, Dr. Birgit, in regards to the belief, I don't fit in, I don't belong. And this is actually a very common belief. I think almost every one of us has at some extent in us. And so it's just like nothing to really, it's just like something very common. And we do have a few very basic common beliefs, almost every one of us. And as well as you said, in regards to feeling fundamentally flawed as well, and this could be as well some beliefs of I'm not good enough, who am I to achieve this and this, or to get the soulmate, or to get the successful business, just like these are again like very common beliefs we have as in basic ones. When we start to be a bit more aware, to look inside, to do some personal self-development, and we can all identify them as well just by being honest with ourselves as well, and sitting down and doing some journaling. Because if you ask yourself the questions, you have deep inside as well the answer where you might feel that you don't belong, or that you are not good enough, or who told you at some point in your life that you are not good enough, or just like really yeah, just like to start and to sit down and to have a bit of an understanding where in your life it started and what the type of beliefs as well are. And as well, in regards to the book as well, there is one, I'm not sure, I didn't think you mentioned it. It's like outshining others, just like one of the last ones he mentioned here, that when we are young kids, obviously the parents want us to perform at our best, to be great in school and so on. But then as well, on some level, they say, or they might say, but don't be too good as well, because you might be um, outshining others, and this can make the others feel bad and so on. So it's a bit like confliction here with these two beliefs. And again, it's fine. It's just about the awareness, okay, that sometimes we might have had the saying of someone, don't shine too much. And again, it's just something wrong. And if we understand it and acknowledge it as well, this is all what it's about as well. What do you think, Nomsa? Don't shine too much.
The beliefs
Yeah.
of don't shine too much. I
Yeah.
say to my children, be who you want to be. Even do the crazy. I tell my children to do the crazy. Do something that makes people wonder. So because when I pray, I say so. I don't believe in that belief of when you are being your best, you're outshining others because there is room for every improvement. There is a room for everyone. So if you are capable of becoming who you want to become, I think you should push yourself to be that, not feeling that you're outshining others. Um, I basically teach my children. I explain to them, number one, that we are all different. And when we chase our dreams, our friends they are not included in our dreams. The reason why friends are not included in our dreams is because you can't stop your dreams just because you have these friends, because you don't want to upset your friends. If your friend loves you very, very much and they wish you well, they will support you in whatever you do in your life. Or if a family member loves you, they will support you even if you go up, because that means they're not going to stay down. That means that they'll go up. So if Dr. Biggett succeed or you, Claudia, succeed at Ngozi talk shows, you are going to teach me how you made it. So I want you to shine. And that's why it's important that people understand that the importance of shining, that there's no such thing as the outshining other people. If you got to do whatever it takes, Dr. Biggett and Claudia, in a way that I'm going to start wondering, how is she doing that? That means I'm going to ask you, and you're going to say, oh, you want to know. And if I have to pay you to teach me, I'll pay you. If you say, okay, I'm going to volunteer to teach you, you can teach me. So I'm happy for somebody to outshine, to be a star, so that they can teach me how they became that star. So I'm happy to do that. I teach my children basically. When I'm saying it to them, they're like, you are a mean mom, because I try to tell them that when you are doing something, like my daughter, she's going to New Jersey on a holiday with the music school, with the music on a holiday for a week. And she came to me and said, but my friends are not there. None of them are going. I thought that is a good thing, because you get to learn something and you get to enjoy yourself. And when you come back, you get to tell your friends about your trip, and they want to visit the place where you've been, and they will want to take music lessons at school. So it's amazing. If we look at things in a positive way, it's amazing. For me, there's a pastor that I follow on YouTube. He's called Dr. Olukoya. He talks about do the crazy, do something that do it. He says do it 100%. You don't just do something for the sake of doing it. He says if you have clients, save them 100% or that 1000%, so they'll bring more. And it will make people wonder, how do you manage to get customers? So I think it's good to shine. And I like it when Claudia, you were saying identify your false beliefs as well. I think it's very, very important that we identify the beliefs that we've created, and those beliefs have become our identity. So I think it's good to identify them. And even Dr. Biggett, you was talking about trying to fit in, and people try to fit in as well, and being scared, the fear of success as well. Trying to fit in is not something that I do anymore. Honestly, God can testify for me. I don't do that anymore. I love people. I would never say I don't fit in with people. What I do is I love people, accept them for who they are, and then it's up to them to accept me back. If they feel that I'm out or I'm not in their league, like people, they evaluate people is fine, but as long I've tried my way to connect myself with people, because that is a good way to love. Like journaling, you were talking about journaling, Claudia, as well. It's the good way to communicate with yourself, the good way to love people by accepting people. Of course, we want to shine, but I have to hang out with people as well that will teach me to shine. And doesn't mean I need to ignore those who don't want to shine. I still visit them and I still talk to them, but not trying to change them to be me. No. Over to you, Dr. Bingett.
I love that. I love what you say is Claudia and insights. So, yeah, sometimes we have the fear of outshining. We worry of what people would say if we do this and that. But, I invite you to remember what Steve Jobs, the founder of the magnanimous Apple, says, and Steve Jobs, and it was actually originated by multiple other people and other writers and philosophers, but basically Steve Jobs put it in one sentence, so to say, and he says it's the crazy one that changed the world. And there was an advertisement; it's still in the internet, or hanging around in the internet, I believe, where he goes and he says, "Here's to the crazy one, the crazy one that changed the world." Now, your desire might not be changing the world at this moment, or perhaps it is. But even if you want to change your life, if you want to change your result from down here to up here, sometimes it's just good to be a little bit crazy. And once you tune in into that, like Moonsa says, it's actually a lot of fun because it's the one that allow themselves to shine and say, okay, I'm going to do this, like you said, so go on the trip that you love, do something completely different that you would, then that's when you actually being able to bring greater and greater good. Some of you know that my background is actually veterinarian oncologist. Who would think? Who would think? And if you ask logical thinking, you're like, yeah, no, that's not just crazy. That's absolutely stupid to say you are a very successful oncologist and then you want to turn around and do grief and do that for corporate. And I did not know a single person in large corporations, by the way. So like what? What? And I have people. I have people. I have coaches. I have many coaches, colleagues, friends, and so forth who are coaches. And I have people in corporation that say, "Oh my God, those glass towers. You got to be like, what are you putting yourself through?" Well, let me tell you this. Yesterday, I delivered yet another continuing educations to one of the largest human resource organizations in Los Angeles area. And they find it so beneficial, they jump to it and they start sharing all the information with their team member. So it's a trickle effect. And imagine if I never decided to be crazy. Not to, so, this is not, I'm not sharing this so you can look at me and say, oh, look at her. But what crazy thing, crazy, what else shining things that you would do? And some of these people are who says, oh my God, that will be what have you, are people that I highly respect. And I said, oh, I don't want to just, kind of go out there. There's a part of me that says that. So there's a part of you that possibly says, I don't know, but this I don't know if I could, or I don't know if it is possible. Well, that's when you want to allow some support to people who has the proven result and will believe in you and have the belief that you can borrow if you can't believe in yourself enough. And so, but I love how, talking about crazy, let's be crazy.
Absolutely. Let's be crazy and as well accept how unique we are and as well the quirkiness in all of us, It took me, I don't know, 40 years, I think, to to understand this. I had to listen to it over and over again, like 40 years, I think, until it really sank in that we are all unique and this is me, this is you, this is Nomsa, just like, and we are all unique on this planet and there's none of us again the way we are here, and this is the beauty as well about it. But obviously this again is a bit like belongs to self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, again like a few aspects in life where it's always important to look at and to spend some time as well in regards to checking how does it look like as well for one. And I did write as well a good journal question in regards to find out the hidden fears, or as well, maybe as well as some of the grief inside of us when, if we would get the desired things we are aiming and going for in our life, is basically just like what would happen. What would happen in my life if I get this desired outcome or the desired thing, the soulmate, the business, whatever it is, just like really be honest. What would happen actually if I really get this? And who would be on my side? What would happen to my spouse and to my family? How would they react? Just like a few simple questions, and one can sit down and just like, just get the guidance, because we have the information already inside of us, to these questions. And this is actually a good start so that you've got something you can work with. Right, Nomsa?
I love it. I love it, Claudia, when you are saying that we are all unique. I love it because, yes, we are. That is so true. And Dr. Biggett is saying, let's do the crazy. The crazy one. Claudia said, let's do the crazy. And Dr. Biggett said, the crazy ones are the ones that changes the world. And that is so true. You basically, if you want to change the world, basically empower people, you're going to have to do the crazy. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to be somebody who doesn't avoid people. You're going to have to be somebody who is not afraid of criticism. You're going to have to be somebody who is basically not afraid of confrontation. And you're going to have to be somebody who is basically, who don't want to stay in their comfort zone. When you set goals, set bigger goals, and not being afraid of finishing your goals and journaling. Claudia, you spoke about journaling as well, and giving gratitude to whether things go tough or not. Just be grateful, like Dr. Biggett. You basically, it's the thing that you do. Gratitude every single day on social media. So you have to be that person that is unique, show your uniqueness to people. And if you have a talent, basically share that talent with others. Instead of saying, I don't want to do this because I'm this, I'm not that person. And I always find my friends, sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm good at that. And I'm like, why don't you do this then about it? And they're like, oh, no, I'm not that kind of a person. I'm like, so what kind of tell me, the people that go for their dreams, what do they have to be like? And they explain. So I'm like, but you can get help with your confidence and stuff. They're like, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So it's just basically realizing your uniqueness, your true authenticity, and just going for the things that you want to do, like Dr. Biggett, and saying go crazy, do the crazy work to change the world. Yes, of course, you can't you can't be ordinary if you're gonna change the world. Jesus himself performed miracles, and when he performed the miracles, he was showing people that this is who I am. So if somebody's out there and is watching this, and if you know that you have a better habit of self-sabotage using yourself, your things, work on it. Work on those limiting beliefs. Work on those false beliefs that Claudia was talking about. And don't be afraid of seeking help. Some people are afraid of seeking help professionally. And Dr. Biggett, she's a grieving coach. She spoke about when you do things that basically destroys your life, that means there's a hidden problems, a hidden grief, and things like that. So you can get in touch with her and see whether if you need any help, and she'll be happy to help you. And so just be unique. So I'm going with you guys while you're saying that it's good to be unique. For me, basically, If you look at my post and you look at my pictures, there is nothing normal about my post. It's all me. No one else. Is just me. Sometimes when I'm feeling like I want to pray and close my eyes and be with God, I take a selfie because this is who I am, representing that I'm not afraid when things go tough. I pray. I've got photos with chains. I'm showing people that I am who I am because I was able to break the chains that were holding me in my life. So I didn't just wake up in the morning and became who I became. There were chains that I needed to break. There were bad habits that I needed to um, think. Like right now, this topic, Claudia, I've already set up the meditation of self-sabotaging. I'm
Mm,
going to do the meditation today.
mm,
I've not done it, so I was
mm,
like, I looked at the topic and I was like, I've been looking at this meditation and thinking I'm gonna do it, but I've not done it. I think it's time. So I'm just gonna get on and do it.
mm.
Over to you, Dr. Vegan.
Thank you, Numsa. Thank you, Claudia. I love what both of I love both of both what of you says, and that is very true. That is, that I love the parable that you says there, and about sometimes for us, we feel that, oh my goodness, yes, we want to be this, but it's kind of scary. I mean, if you ever try to step out of your comfort zone, if you ever
Mm,
try to do something different, and perhaps nobody in the family ever done that, you're the first one to go to college
mm,
ever.
mm,
It could be kind of scary. The first one to have your own business. I mean, like you're like, well, looking around, like, who do I know? And if you feel hesitations, if you feel doubt, just know it's normal, natural, and healthy. So
mm,
give a big hug to yourself, and instead of
mm,
negativity, talk our great teacher, the great teachers Jesus, for you, for us, if you believe in the Bible, it's Jesus. But even if it's not, he is a great teacher. Even Jesus, even Jesus, at some point did not feel ready. If you follow the Bible story at the beginning, the very first miracle, the miracle of the wine that Jesus do. In the story, Mary say, his mother Mary says, "There's not enough wine. Do your miracle." And he says, "It's not time yet." What he was waiting for. He's son of God in the story. And so but he wasn't ready. He's like, I don't know if I want to shine right now. This is Jesus. So if you have that, first of all, just give yourself a
mm,
big hug and say, you know what? It's normal for me to do that. Now the point is you don't sit there. Imagine if Jesus said, no, 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 I'm not going to do that. And then he waited a week and he waited a week. Miracles never happen, and there is miracles in each and every one of us. There is miracles in you. You to be alive. To all miracles to even be alive, but there is light waiting to shine even brighter in you. Your family, your loved one, and yourself deserve that, even if you don't care about the whole world right now. Because why? Because when you are shining, when you're doing the best, being in the best that you put, naturally, I mean, if you ever seen the family who are very happy, it's like every single person in there happy, right? And so there's a light waiting in you, there's miracles waiting to come out. And that is very true, like which Claudia said, you got to do the work. I love one thing that I learned so well from my oncology mentor. Back in the day, I had an exam that was so challenging and so forth, and I told her, it will, sure, if miracles happen, I can pass this exam. And this is an oncology teacher with degree running off, the letters of her degree running off the back of the paper. And she looked at me and said, you believe in miracles, don't you? As an oncologist, as a doctor, you better believe in miracle. But miracles, actually, a lot of many you might not realize this, but miracles is actually having the faith and the work. You don't just, like Jim Carrey says, you don't just go sit on the couch and say, okay, I want this to happen. You've got to do the work as well. Like Claudia says, you've got to do the work. You've got to do, yes, you want to allow yourself to shine, and you got to do the work to that take off all the dirt of past grief, the dirt of society sayings and all these things off you, so you are able to shine. And thank you, Numsa, for mentioning that I work with people to release their hidden grief that can stand in the way of cause from them having their result that can cause them to self sabotage. And you know, sometimes I understand it can be hesitating. It can be kind of like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to just reach out just like that. To make it easy for you, I actually, and to I mean, can do you know that if we almost closing the first half of the year? Isn't that amazing? Just in a couple of weeks. So to make it easy for you, to help you that the second half of this year, second half of 2020, you succeed even more, you shine even more. I actually have an event right on June 30th. It's a 1 hour free seminar where we will be able to help you look into what's causing you to not accomplishing what is it that you truly, truly love. Is it self-sabotage? Is it something else? And we will look in there on June 30th in free 1 hour seminar where you'll be able to say, so what's causing this? What's really causing? What's really stopping? Because you deserve to shine. Your loved one deserve for you to shine, and the world deserve for you to shine as well. And so please join in. Please join in with this talk show every day. Noom says here every day with great topic. And join me. I'll put in the link in very shortly as well to be able. And hi, Phoebe. Thank you for joining us. Thank
Hi.
you for participating.
Hi. Yes, absolutely, Dr. Birgit. And again, yes, just start taking action steps towards your goals, as you just said. And there could be greetings from Canada as well. Yes, thank you so much. Greetings from England, actually. Actually, one of the excuses we all have is telling ourselves that we are not ready yet. I think Dr. Berger just said this. And again, I would like you just to be aware, just an excuse. And I've said this as well to me. I have to be perfect before, I do this. I have to have my website. I have to do all the courses. And it's just like, again, excuses, okay? It doesn't exist to be perfect, So just like do an action step and then the next one and the next one after. And as well as Dr. Birgit explained, the comfort zone is just very normal because your subconscious wants to keep you safe. It's basically its job. So everywhere and anywhere where you decide to do something new to you, whatever it is, and we will always get a bit nervous or a bit anxious around it, and this is normal. So it's nothing to get to worry about. Just acknowledge it, understand it's something new you are going to do, and this is how it works, because the job of the subconscious is to keep you safe, and it will always try to keep you on, on this lower vibration. And beautiful as well in the book, once more, The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks talks about that we all have our zone of genius, every one of us, and it's all different to us. And the zone of genius is basically something to each of us which comes natural to us, which we can do all day long. It's fun, and and the good thing is as well, if we take it and get paid for it, it's even, how much better can this get, if you understand? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed as well this talk today, and just have fun.
Hi, Vivian. We are Nomsa here from UK. Thank you for joining us. So for me, I'm going to say what Dr. Bickett was saying about even Jesus himself. He doubted himself. He wasn't ready for the miracle. There's a program called The Chosen, and they basically did a story of Jesus based on Matthew chapter in the Bible. It's really, really good. They've gone up to season 2. Season 3 is coming out. There's a time where when they ran out of wine and Mary went to Jesus and said, "It is time." And he was like, "I'm not ready." And his mom went, "You are ready. You're not going to be ready." Himself, and he was like, "Let me consult my father." So he went and prayed, and then he did it. That's when he did his miracle. So it is normal, basically. It shows that when
Just disappear. Oh no.
Yes, it's fine. Yeah, but
Oh well,
well,
I'm right back.
mm,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so too.
But that is beautiful. I love this conversation. So thank you. It's a great topic in choose, Claudia. This is
Yeah.
really a beautiful topic. So
Yeah, the thing is always when she asks me about a topic, I tune in, I basically ask as well what type of topic is good for the audience, and this is how I pick the topics, So I got this as, basically as a download so that we can all benefit and just go back into it. It's just about remembering, Dr. Birgit, right? Yeah, as well for us, I still self-sabotage as well, obviously, it's just like, yeah, just being aware of it, understanding, and then just doing the opposite action, yeah, rather than going into all the drama and,
yeah, exactly. Nobody's perfect. We do things. So we endeavor to improve. So if you're listening to this, and Vivi, greetings from Canada. I'm from the US, so we're kind of like neighbor, at least neighboring countries. So thank you for that. But we're all in here. We all endeavor. I love to use the word endeavor, which is like do the best we can. We are do your best, and it's thank you. It's great to have you here, Vivi.
Absolutely.
It's like, and I love how you say that you tune in, because that's one thing. Like tune in when you listen to this and you hear. There is a saying. One of my mentor, Mary Morris, says that inspirations without actions is purely entertainment. So, are you here for entertainment, or are you here to improve yourself and improve your result? If you improve your results, what learning have you gained from Amanda and from Noosa and from myself?
okay, got kicked out. Got kicked out.
And you're back in.
And you're back.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we begin. Okay, I think we're just gonna have to say, basically, I was talking about the chosen, then got kicked out. So you can watch the story. You can download the app. Actually, they find them on YouTube, or you can download the chosen app. Basically, what Dr. Bickett was saying. Yes. So just know that it's normal, basically, to doubt yourself, and it's normal to work on your basically on the beliefs, limiting beliefs. It's normal to basically to fall. So that's what I live with. You guys let mind pausing. I think I'm having a feedback. Okay, so I think that's it for today before I get kicked out again. So, Gospel Talk Show's YouTube family, please subscribe to our channel. And we are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And if you want to get in touch with Claudia, please do, or Dr. Biggett, or any of our coaches at Gospel Talk Shows, please do. And if you are looking for love, go to my website, Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency. If you are looking to find your own voice, the lead from within, we are here at Gospel Talk Shows. Get in touch with us, please. And God bless and live with grace.
Bye-bye.